AP Stats, this is podcast section 3.1a. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Hope your day is Gucci, and we're going to get after this. Let's go. We're going to finesse today. All right, here we are. What? Is that not? Should I start over? Should probably start over. All right, let's do this. We talked about this idea of scatter plot. Let's review. How many variables do we have in a scatter plot? Fiona? Two. Nice. And Claudia, what type of variables are they?
Explanatory and response.
Nice, good. And these two explanatory and response variables contain what type of variable? Like what type of variable would it be there, Jared?
Quantitative.
Yes, quantitative. Nicely done. Okay. So that's what we're looking at there. We also said that the definition of explanatory represented what? When?
What you're changing or the X variable?
Yes, it's the explaining variable, right? And it's the x-axis, okay? I've actually got a better definition I'm going to hit on here in just a second, but I like that. Response would be what?
Let's just.
Go ahead. You got something?
I'm blanking. It's like the outcome of the response of the explanatory variable.
Nice, yeah, it's the outcome, right? It's the outcome of that. So just to help us out, Wynn and Fiona gave us great definitions. These are ones that hopefully will be ones that I didn't really go over, but may help us a little bit more on where we're headed. The explanatory is used to predict. It's our input, okay? So it's just something to add there. This is from the other day. Some of you have this already. And then the response is the outcome of the study, and it's our output, okay? Which is very similar to what Fiona said, and explanatory was exactly what Lynn was talking about there. All right, tell you what, I'm going to give 3 tickets if you know this. This was just a little piece of something that I said, and it wasn't very long. What is confounding variable? This was this word that I just hung up here, Ivana.
Things that affect your results that you can't really change.
I like that. Things that affect my results that I can't change. Could someone give me an example of the context we're talking about with the Barbie stuff?
So all of the figurines were different heights, so it kind of affected the measurements, but it was numerical, so we didn't put that into the.
Yes, for you were the Tigger, right?
Yeah.
Tigger right there. And Fiona, what was y'all's?
Good Barbie.
Yeah, the Barbie. Anybody do the fat dude, the small fat dude? No? Someone in the other class did. I think it was, I forget who it was actually now. But it was hilarious because it didn't go very far, right? That was a confounding variable. Does anyone else have one? Wayne?
The weight of the doll.
Yeah, the weight of the doll, right? The weight of it. I think they're even the rubber band lengths,
Yeah,
right?
rubber
Rubber band lengths. All of those things are confounding variables that are there. Okay. All right. Did we go to Staplet yet? Did we do all that mess?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Did you put down your scatter plot? Yes. Everyone's Gucci on that. All right. Good. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is, and I think what I'd like to do is if you could take out Staplet real quick. Okay. That way we can all be kind of on the same page here. And I'm going to kind of go forwards and then come backwards. It's going to be, hopefully this will make sense here, okay? For explanatory, we're going to put rubber bands, and we'll put all of our data here. Does it work well on phones too? Does it work good on phones? Good. I didn't know if it was good or not. Okay, so on section 3.1, day 2, okay? So we're going to go kind of forward, and then we're going to kind of roll back just because I want everyone to be on the same page, okay? Y'all see this right here on day 2? I think it's on the second side of that sheet. Okay, so you could still get that there. Just so we're talking about the same scatter plot, your scatter plot was different than mine, okay? And was different from each other's. Since we want to talk about the same one, could we plug this into Staplet real quick? Would y'all be okay with that? All right, we're just going to plug this value, 3.1 day 2, we're going to plug into Staplet. That way we're all talking in the same language. So we have rubber bands is the explanatory. Response is the distance traveled. By the way, while we plug this in, is there anyone that's ever been bungee jumping? I didn't know if anyone's ever been bungee jumping before. Do you know Sarah? Kester has been skydiving.
That's sick.
Isn't that awesome? We should do that as a field trip.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'd do it. All right, so 3, 6, 7, 8. We just do the 7. Here we are. Okay. So when we do this, just so you have kind of another one, because we're gonna we'll go to that here. I want you to just on the side over here, put your second scatter plot, the one that you are doing today, and it should look very similar to this, or actually should be the same thing. I want you to put that right in the open spot on the day 2 side, and then we're gonna go back to day 1. I know it's kind of weird, but we'll go back to day 1. I just want to make sure you could see it on this side, okay? All right, I'll give you just a second to kind of write that in. Is anyone else in psych doing scatter plots right now? Should be pretty close to it, right?
Well, we just finished that lesson.
Yeah, the stats unit, right? Did you notice a lot of it
Yeah.
overlap? All right, so while you're finishing there, I want someone to this is going to be kind of a little vulnerable for us, but y'all step to the plate every time. I want you to think about how you would describe this scatter plot. Okay, so before we go there, how do we describe a distribution again? SOX, good, yeah. Shape, outlier, center, spread, right? So SOX is where we've headed before, okay? Now we're going to go to something completely different. Because now we don't really have when we look at this, we don't really have a shape. It's a little different. Outliers we could have. Center and spread, it's just a little different with the scatter plot. But anybody have any idea how I could describe this?
Like linear or not?
Linear, good. I like it. I'm just putting words down. This is on number 4. We're going back. This is really weird, I know. You're going back to day 1. Cool. On number 4. So we're gonna refer to the scatter plot you just did. So we're talking about the same thing, okay? Talking about the same thing here, and we're gonna describe the relationship of what we just saw, okay? So we're gonna say linear is a good word. Nice. Any other thoughts on that scatter plot? It's positive. Good. What direction is it going? It's in the positive direction, right? It's going whoop. That's exactly right. I saw you, Torrance. Torrance just dabbed if you didn't see that just now. I did. I saw him. He went boom, boom, like that to me. And I was like, Torrance, it's a little weird now. It's a little weird. No, I'm just messing. But yeah, it's in that positive direction, right? Positive direction. Any other thoughts? I'll up the ante. I got 2 tickets if you can figure out another one. There's 4 things, just like with SOX. You all got 2 of them.
Isn't there like a median line that should get through all of the points, and if the point is off the line?
Line of best fit.
Line of best fit, yeah. That's actually a really good thought. That's not the way we describe it, but that is a part of where we will be heading. Okay. So I'm going to put this over here, LSRL. We call that the least square regression line. You called it the line of best fit. Kind of the same thing there, okay? When?
Possibly no outliers. No outliers.
You're exactly right. That's nicely done. There are no outliers in this. Torrance, you got something? Is it approximately, I'm going to give you a ticket on this because you're saying it, but we got to put it in the terms of the scatter plot. Cool? So first off, let's put this. We're going to say no outliers. And coming to what Torrance was saying, we don't call it normal because it's not like an approximately normal curve, but we say, are these dots tight to each other? That was weird, I'm sorry, but you get the idea. Like, are they tight to each other? are they like spread out really far?
Distribution. They're not that far. The deviation.
Say it again. Oh, this is beautiful. This is just awesome to my soul. Yes, this is a strong correlation. Got me? Why is it strong?
Because they're all linked together.
They're
tight.
They're tight. If they were all scattered all over, we would say that's a weak correlation, right? Or a weak strength. Weak strength. So what we would say here is, and you're going to see me put this in a sentence. We're going to say that it's linear, it's positive, it has no outliers, and it's not weak. I'm sorry. Strong. There we go. All right, so let's draw this. Let's write this thing. Okay. So this is how I would write this. Okay. Here's the graph. First off, I would start with. Oh yes, Ivana, coming through. Nicely done. Yes, we start with context. So what would that be? When referring to
The number of rubber bands attached to Barbie and their lowest.
good, and you could say this 100 different ways, right? When Fiona both were saying this. When referring to the number of rubber bands and its influence on, this is really wordy, I'm sorry, on the distance traveled, we can see that the scatter plot is what? Oh, here we go. Is linear. Good. What else? Has no outliers. I'm going to put with no outliers at the end. Is that cool?
In a positive direction.
Yes, so we could say is a linear, is a positive linear, could we say? We could say that, right? So is a positive linear, linear scatter plot.
Graph.
We need one more. Yeah, graph. That's probably a good word. Yes. Graph. That's what we're doing. Yes, I like that. Graph
With the strong correlation.
with a strong, I love that, strong correlation with no outliers. Are we good with that? We Gucci on that? With no outliers. That's a pretty beautiful answer right there. Okay. Now let me show you what different components we need, because this is really where we're going to head. The first one was SOCs, right? Distributions are SOCs. When we talk about a scatter plot, we use this. We use DOFs. I know. The words are awesome. I love it. So D stands for, anyone?
Distribution.
It's actually direction. Nicely done, Fiona. It's direction. What's the direction here? Positive. So this right here represents the D right there. Okay? Let me do a different color to make it look beautiful. What is the O? Outliers. Nicely done. Good. So outliers is here, and we set it on this side, right? So this is the O. Good. Feeling inspired. This is good. F is. That was good. This one's tough. It's called form. Form. Okay. What's the form here? Linear. Yeah, we said that. Nice. Who did it? Claudia?
No, I'm pointing at her.
Oh, I thought you were like, I did it. Yeah. No, that's exactly right. That would be linear, which would be my form. Okay? Good. And then my last one is my S, which would be. What did S stand for? Strength. It's strength. Yeah. So it's like, is it weak? Is it moderate? Is it strong? Cool. The strength of the graph. So this would be the strong correlation. That would end up being what Torrance was saying right before he dabbed. That would be where it would be at, the S there. Okay? Awesome. Okay, so then context, obviously, we put the beautiful context up on top. Cool? All right, questions? Cool. Here's what I would say to this, okay? Go to the Golden Nugget page real quick. You don't have to rewrite all this. I'm going to tell you the few things you just need to remember. Real quick, put DOFS, just DOFs. Real fast, let's talk through what we could say about each of these, okay? What are the options for direction? Positive, negative, or You could say neutral, you could say none, right? Either of those would work. So either of those three, those would encompass direction. Outliers you either do or you don't, okay? You do not have an IQR formula like we had last time with the distributions over on my left. You just say that it's outside of the realm of the other data plots there, okay? So that's either you do or you don't, and then you label the point. That's something too. Label the point, okay? If it is, if you say that there is, okay?
Do you like star it?
Yeah, that's a good question. You could start and just say, over here, there appears to be an outlier at this spot. You could do that. That's a good point here. Form would be? Linear or non-linear. Yeah. You could also have a parabola-looking thing. You know, where it kind of follows a parabola-looking thing over the top. Okay. And strength is what? Strong, weak, or moderate. Cool. All right, good. Questions on that? I'll let you kind of get that down. What's something else on the Golden Nugget page from this section that would be important? Explanatory being the X, response being the Y. That's good, Fiona. Anything else? That's pretty much it, right? The only thing that I see a lot that people forget, that is just stuff that we just got to remember, is remembering that down here and over here you got to label it. Got to label it, okay? Stuff like that are little things that will be counted off for that we can help. We just got to remember to put it in there, okay? All right, good stuff. All right, we did that. Okay, all right, look at 3.1. Check your understanding, cool? I'm going to give you 5 minutes within your group real fast to just rep that out. Now, for today only, okay, you do not have to write in context for this section, just for sake of time, okay? You'll never hear me say that again. But for right now, for sake of time, we're going to roll through that really quick and do it fairly quickly. Cool? Ready? Let's go. Let's do it. Thanks.
Can I run to the bathroom real quick?
You may. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's a Chelsea. What would you say? Maybe ask the question, does sugar explain the amount of calories in a food, or do calories explain the sugar? I would say that. That's how I would say it. Yeah. Sometimes you can do either, and that's okay. It could be either way.
So your explanatory is not candy, it has to be the sugar.
Correct, because when we look at this, right, this would be categorical, right? And we remember with this, it would be two quantitative measurements. It's a good question. Good thought. Dear, did you know you were going to get, that was happening in
My chapel?
in chapel today? Yeah.
I mean, I don't even remember when I recorded it. Or was it like 2 weeks ago, last week, something like that? I mean, me getting called out like that by my classmates, that wasn't expected.
That was hilarious.
I mean, actually,
That was
knowing
so
me, it
funny.
probably was expected.
Sorry if there's not enough room. There's not.
Yeah, I bet.
I appreciate you doing that. No, it's not my building. It's good to see you, dude. Have a good day.
So, when it's not linear, it's like not a straight line.
Correct. Now, if it is somewhat, I usually say it's linear till it's not. Does that make sense? Which is weird because the reason why is if you had, I'm putting this over here in the corner though, Fiona. If you had something that looked like this,
It's basically our graph.
like this, that is going to be approximately linear, I'm going to say. I might say the strength is weak. You know what I mean? I might say, I'm going to make sure that it is, like I would say our graph is linear. You know, it might not be strong, right?
Okay.
But I'm going to say that it still follows a linear-ish pattern. And again, it doesn't necessarily matter what, if you said it was nonlinear, yeah, I would just make sure, I would say it's linear till it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like what I'm saying though.
We'll roll with it.
Yeah, we'll roll with it. I would say, yeah, if it is clear, like it'll be clear. Like if it's like a parabola, right?
Yeah.
So it'll follow more of that type of shape there.
Okay. So which is often the dot?
There's like one way out there, isn't there? 136 and 660.
Okay, great. 'Cause I was
All right, y'all good? All right, let's check this out. Did y'all get this scatter plot-ish around this area? Explanatory sugar, calories is response, right? Okay. All right, help me out now. What'd you put for your
I guess
description?
It wasn't
You said positive. I like it. Emily, did you put anything else on there with the DOFs? Positive.
Oh, I said it's like not a strong like correlation.
Good. So if it's not strong, we could say a couple of things, right? We could say it's either weak or it's moderate, right? So we could say, in this case, what would we say? You could go either way. I would say probably more moderate because it still follows. You could still see that it's approximately aligned. So I would say probably more moderate. But if you said it was weak, I'm not gonna count on for that. I'm gonna say that it's probably weak, moderate, and is it linear? Linear graph with what? With an outlier. Where?
107, 570.
With an outlier at 1. What was it again?
107,
Gotcha.
and then 570.
570. Y'all agree with that? 107. 570. Right here. It's at that point. Doesn't that? Maybe I'm wrong on this. 107, 570.
The other one?
136, 680.
136, 680. There's that one.
Oh wait, shoot! I didn't
It's okay.
Sorry, guys.
Does anyone else have another outlier they see? Maybe? All right, here's where it comes in. Remember the line of best fit? It kind of shoots across like this, right, where it hits most of the data. Which one is furthest away from that line? Yeah, good job, Jerry. This one up here, even though these are further away, we're actually going to talk about that later. Even though these are further away, that orange one is really the one that's the outlier, okay, if we were to say one. And so I would say in this case, the outlier would be at
79,790.
yeah, there you are, 79,790. Okay? Does that make sense for those that had questions on that? Okay? And then what am I missing? Yes, Hannah, very good. Context, okay? How many of you are tired of me talking about context? I'm going to get shirts that say something about context on it. What do you think? It'd be cute. We should do it. Yeah, just put context.
We're doing like the AP exams, and then I'll just like remember to
It
do
should be in the
context.
uniform.
I got it. Context on the front, on the back, the formula sheet, so I can look like when I'm taking the test. What do you think?
It's genius.
Tommy, we're full of ideas. Give me some. We'll do a shirt. I'm serious. I'll do a shirt. Let's do it. Right now. Y'all think I'm joking?
Oh,
We're
I know
doing
you're
a shirt. We're
Right
doing
now,
a shirt.
I know you're about to get
definitely.
Is that why you're laughing? You're like, what? Okay, so are we good here? Are we good? Are we Gucci on this? We're fine. Okay, what is the time here? 2:14. We get out at 2:30. 2:25. We got 10 minutes. All right. Actually, 5 minutes. All right. So we're gonna do this here. All right. Let's go to over yonder here. Okay. So question: how trustworthy is that data?
Not very.
Why do you say that, Fiona?
Because there are a lot of factors or confounding factors that influence the data that could have gone wrong.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Does anyone agree and have another opinion, or does anyone disagree?
I just don't think those data, like the two variables, are like correlated at all.
You don't think they're correlated?
Not really.
So you don't think that as we increase rubber bands that she's going to fall further and further?
For this.
Yes, for this
Oh, I
one.
think for the-
Oh, for the other one, yeah, it really wasn't set in stone, right? Maybe what about for this one? Going back to the previous example, not to check your understanding one. This one. Is there a correlation here?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, there is. As we increase rubber bands, right, we increase the fall. We saw that, right? We saw that. Is everyone good? Okay. All right, so question. How trustworthy is this? Is there a way, is there a number that can help us with how trustworthy this is? What if I had more dots up here and around here? What would happen to the trust factor? It would decrease, right? We wouldn't trust that as much. I wouldn't want a bungee cord that would have a dot plot that was all over the place, okay? Just being honest. So because of that, we want something that is really, really, really tight. Got me? And we actually say that in this case, we have this button or this number called correlation. So I want you to do this. If you don't have it up here, we've got this number 0.992. Okay, is that a pretty high correlation?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Why is it positive?
It's in a positive direction.
Good, it's in a positive direction. Good, whoa. Did you see that? Anybody see that? Ooh, my. It's out there. 0.992, that's pretty tight. That's pretty tight. That means it's a positive value. Again, the max is 1, by the way. Max is 1. So 0.992 means this right over here is pretty tight there. It's pretty tight together, okay? So the question is on that next question, how safe do you feel with Barbie's bungee jump if we use this data?
Safe.
I would say we're really safe, right? Really safe because of that 0.992. Now let me use a different color here, okay? All right, this will be the last thing, and I want to show you some funny stuff here. So this, I'm going to say this is safe, okay? We're going to say this is safe because of what? It's a, and Torrance gave the word, strong what? Correlation. This is a strong correlation. In what direction? Good, so we'll say it's a strong positive correlation. If this was negative, what would we expect for the graph? Yes, it would be going downward, right? Going downward. And it would also be very tight if it was negative 0.992 here, okay? All right, I wanted to go to that for. We're going to hold right there, okay? So I want to ask you this. This is the last thing. We're going to have some fun with this, okay? Can I say that rubber bands cause the head to go lower, for this to go lower, for her to fall lower? Can I say that it causes?
No.
Why?
Because correlation does not mean like the
Bingo.
same thing as a cause at all.
Good. Correlation
Thank you, AP.
does not equal causation, okay? We are not talking about causation. We're talking about correlation. You say, Coach, what are you talking about? Let me give you some examples of why we would never use this. Okay, you ready? Okay.